Alright, this is the iDraw versus the Axidraw video that I've been promising for a while, which will have some information in it that may help you decide if you want to get an iDraw machine or an Axidraw machine. Dan, you might be saying, why is your intro so weird today? And I'll answer that halfway through, because this has been a very strange video to shoot and it's really thrown me. But what I'll do is I'll give you the pros and cons of this one right up front so you can make a decision. The very short answer is, yeah, sure, buy one of these iDraws, they're absolutely fine. I will give you a breakdown now. I have some notes. All right then. So the claim is on the iDraw website that this is 3 times faster than the Axidraw. And it turns out I've managed to get it to be 2 times faster. I can't get that 3 times faster thing. This is faster. This is a faster machine. It's definitely faster, twice as fast. More details on that later. Go. It is cheaper. So actually this one is the same price as this. So this is an H model. It costs the same price as this. But if you go for the cheaper one's like $430 and this is $700. I might recommend going for the cheapest out of all of them, and I'll explain why at the end. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, it has this base here, which means that even if your table is uneven, the base matches the whole of the frame here. So that's really good. Comes with the base, don't need to worry about it. Axidraw comes with the base too, but they're separate, so they can move around, and it depends on how flat your table is. So if you're taking stuff to shows or exhibitions, show and tell, this is probably an easy unit just to grab and take with you, but again, more on that later. What's the other pro? Oh yeah, this kind of just works straight out of the box. That's my biggest thing. I'm terrible at putting things together. I grabbed this, put it together, connected it to my laptop, used Inkscape, and it worked just fine. I haven't used any command line interface stuff or Python or any coding to try to control it. I guess that kind of goes into a con. As soon as I got the Axidraw, I just downloaded the extra tools and I was connecting to it on the command line straight away. This I haven't spent the time to figure out how to do that, but it didn't seem very straightforward. I'm sure it is, but this worked fine through Inkscape. I personally don't like Inkscape, but there we go, that's that. So those are the pros. Cons. There's only a couple, but they're kind of major ones. The first one, and I'm going to jump to my phone to help with this one, is the cable management. So here, let me fire this up. Switch to the camera here. So there I am. Hello. Okay, so the first is cable management. On the Axidraw, you have these 2 separate cable management things that keep them out of the way. So as you go down, this cable manages that. And as you go out, there you go. So that's your cable management on the Axidraw. Now, on the iDraw, you have this single cable here. And it comes with a couple of ties, but I have no idea where you would attach them to. But if you're drawing a design, like a frame comes across here, and then this comes all the way down to this corner here. And then if you started drawing across, you end up with this being caught here. That goes to there, and then you can't go any further that way. But even more of a problem is it gets caught on this bit of metal here. And then when you try to move up, you're getting caught again here. So anything where you're drawing down in this bottom corner, you get really caught up. So you can't really leave it unattended when you're plotting on A3. When I was doing my tests with A4, it wasn't a problem because it never got further than here, and that was all okay. You could probably build something out here to stop this cable from dropping down, so it's certainly fixable. And there's another trap just here that you could put something in here, but yeah, this is a big problem, so I haven't been able to leave it unattended yet. So just be aware that the cable management is a bit weird. The other one is if you're using a fountain pen or a brush pen that you want to have at an angle. So you can see with this, if you imagine this is the runner down here and this is the carriage that holds the pen is held on the side of it. So the fountain pen is going in this direction. Whereas with the Axidraw, you have this slider here, the carriage, and then the pen is held at the end, which means when you're writing, say on this sheet here, the fountain pen is this way, and if you're using a broad nib, it kind of makes a difference. Whereas with this one, you're writing at this angle, so your letters, your broad nib is anyway, it's just a little bit weird. But more than that is with this, you can cover the whole page. As soon as you go into, here we go, as soon as you go into italic mode, again, not italic mode, sort of slanty mode, this can only go to here. So you can't get all the way to the edge of the paper. And then once we're all the way over this side, moving the cable out of the way, our pen is off here and there's no way to move this base further that way. So yeah, that's a little bit weird that you can't use the whole of that there. That said, I've seen people use fountain pens vertically, so that may not be an issue for you, which is still good, solid, fast. But if you do want to use things sloped like this, you're probably better off buying the cheapest model that doesn't have this side on it and also doesn't have a base, and then you're back to being able to position the paper wherever you want it. It may not be a problem for you though, because if I take you over here, come with me. Right, you see all these pens down here? All of these pens work vertically. All of these pens work vertically. All of these pens work vertically. These pens work vertically. The only ones that I ever put in at an angle are fountain pens and brush pens like this. So you have all this to choose from. And there's people who use HP plotters, old plotters, the circuit plotters, all sorts of plotters that just hold the pen vertically all the time. You can do so much with just holding a pen vertically that it may not be a problem for you. There's a very small situation where you want to have the pen tilted like this, and in that case this probably won't work for you, but the cheaper model probably will, so go cheaper. And I think that's it for my cons. So let's do a very quick summary. If you're using standard pens that just go down smooth paper, you want to plot things really quickly onto A4 or A3, doing lots of postcards, doing lots of A4 artwork, and you want to get it out quickly, you're taking something to a show, then this is actually quite a good machine if you can sort the cable management out. Aside from that, I've had no trouble with it at all. It's been really fun to have it going off in the background, and it is actually satisfying having it going faster. More of that in a moment. I'm obviously going to keep using both of them. If I was going to install an exhibition, maybe I would stick with this one. Don't know. Anyway, there you go. Snap verdict. This isn't terrible. It's completely serviceable. It will absolutely work. It isn't going to be a nightmare. You'll get it set up nice and easily. You'll be up and running in no time at all. Just that cable is a problem. Right, I'm going to have a very small break. Then afterwards, I'll show you example outputs of both of these, some videos of it drawing, and a couple more observations that I shot earlier, and the results of the speed test, so you can see just how much faster this is than this one. Right, I think that's it. Oh, I'm so glad this is done. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to tell you what my main issue was. I'm next door at the castle again. Let me show you. Hold on. Which is a pretty awesome place to come. So I want to talk really quickly about making videos, and I swear this is actually connected to the pen plotter thing. So I've been doing this for a while now, and one of the first problems is learning how to use your camera and the microphone and all that type of stuff. And once you got past that, you're learning how to use all the software. But once all those things are out of the way, then you start to really get into the swing of things, and you kind of get used to how you make videos. So one of those things is storytelling, where you kind of have this sort of setup, conflict, resolution structure. I'm going to try to do this thing, here's a problem with it, and then this is how I resolved it. The simplest story structure. And I make these videos kind of like three ways. I can either write the script up front and then just read it off the auto cue, and that is a lot of upfront work, but it makes the edit really easy. Or I can do bullet points, or I can just ad-lib the thing with the structure, the shape of it in my mind. And because of this iDraw, I was discovering everything for the first time. I kind of wanted to record my reactions to discovering stuff. I went with the ad-libbing front. I also went in with this assumption of their claim of the pen plot being 3 times faster, that as we made the plots go faster and faster, they would start to lose definition. That was my assumption, and it's a fairly reasonable one. When I do stuff on watercolor paper, you kind of have to run the plot slowly and you have to add extra weight. But most people I know use smooth paper, and they use kind of normal pens on the smooth paper, so that's what I did. And again, going in, I kind of had this idea the structure will be, we're going to test this out, we're going to run it faster and faster, but there will become a point where we start losing definition and it's running too fast. Therefore, the Axidraw and the iDraw will probably run at roughly the same speed. There's no advantage to one over the other. And because I had that assumption, I was putting foreshadowing in the start of my video. As I was talking, I was kind of laying the foundation for this thing to be true. Turned out though, that as I did the plots, the quality didn't get worse. I kept making them faster, it kept plotting them just fine. The iDraw, going twice as fast as the Axidraw, plotted it absolutely perfectly. There was no real degradation in the pen plot. And that meant that my assumptions are wrong, my foreshadowing and the introduction are kind of wrong, and I knew that my video was going off the rails somehow. And at the same time I started noticing the problem with the cable and a couple of other things, so then I was holding the camera and I was shooting all of those, knowing in the back of my head that what was going onto the cards and then later onto the hard drive was just trash. Or not trash, it was just I was rambling a lot and there was so much of it that was going to make the edit so hard to then pull whatever I was recording back into some kind of narrative that made sense. Anyway, yeah, so that's why this video took a long time, and also why in the end I decided just to reshoot the whole thing this morning, say what I wanted to say, and now I'm going to show you some of the footage that I actually shot, but I'm not going to try to string it together into like a cohesive story. I'm just going to show you what I did, the speed, the quality, and the cut. The edit might be a bit all over the place. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Am I in focus? I really hope so. Today we're going to review this iDraw a little bit more by comparing it to this Axidraw here. This is a $700 Axidraw. This is the version 3, A3, not special edition, $700. This is the $699, a whole dollar cheaper, H model iDraw version 2. So these are comparable in price. So I just want to talk speed. What do we mean by speed? How fast you can run it, the difference in speed. Brand new pens, let me get on that. Let's just do this, which is kind of like an obstacle course of pen plotters. It's got all these zigzag lines and they've got all these shapes like hexagons, circles, stars, triangles. And I reckon the plan is on both of those machines on smooth card is to run that plot again and again and again, getting faster each time until we start to lose detail. Here we go, 2 machines, 2 new sets of pens. Almost feeling sorry for the machine here. These are zigzags that it's doing. You know what? I had this great plan for this video, that comparing the iDraw with the Axidraw would battle them out. And I devised this pen plot design. I'll use my other camera here to show you some of these. I figured I'd use this design that has got zigzaggy lines, then it's got these all over the place. They're not optimized, so the plotter has to move. That it will be a good test of the speed, and I'll keep making them go faster and faster and faster until at some point these points on the zigzags were no longer pointy and we started losing the definition on the stars. And that way we would discover how fast you could run each plotter before you started losing quality, and that would be a good speed comparison. They're all fine. No matter how fast I run these machines, they're all fine. I really wanted to say, oh, at this point it stops being fine, so you can only do it at this speed. So I feel like a bit of an idiot now. Here we go. What do I have to do here? This is the Axidraw at its default speed. If you don't do anything, this is what you get. 30 minutes 56. The iDraw at its default settings, not changing anything, 9 minutes 40, so about 4 minutes faster. But if we have a look at the Axidraw, so we speed things up, so 50% of maximum speed, 13:59, 3 seconds slower, weirdly. 75%, 13:55. At 100% speed is 13:28. So still 13.5 minutes. As you go through the settings, it gets 30 seconds faster with this design. The iDraw, however, 25% speed, 9 minutes 40, 8 minutes 30, 8 minutes 20, and at 100% speed, sort of, we'll come to that, 7 minutes 30. Those are for the unoptimized plots. I also did optimized versions at standard speed, so this is now optimized, 10 minutes 45. The iDraw optimized, 5 minutes 40 seconds. But something else I did, if I get rid of these ones, I also ran these optimized at the fastest possible speed. So the Axidraw, running at its fastest possible speed, 125%, is 10 minutes 46. The iDraw, fastest possible speed, 4 minutes 25. So optimized and as fast as possible, 10 minutes 46 is still slower than the iDraw standard settings unoptimized, 9 minutes 40. So that's a little bit of a fun result, that the Axidraw running as fast as it possibly can on an optimized plot is still slower than the iDraw running an unoptimized plot at its standard speed. So in all cases, the iDraw is running much faster than the Axidraw, about 2 times the speed. There's one more observation, which is at each time the line quality on the Axidraw isn't quite as good, especially here on the fastest one, isn't quite as good as the comparable iDraw over here. But some of that is because the iDraw has a little extra downwards force, a downwards pressure that allows it to have better quality lines at better speed. The Axidraw, I can solve that just by putting a little jam jar or a couple of little extra weights on it, but I wanted to compare what they're both like without doing any modifications to them at all. I'll just stick a jam jar on and it'll make this pen issue kind of go away, so it's not really a huge problem. But in all these tests, and I'll leave this file, this SVG file down below so you can test it yourself, the iDraw is twice as fast. There is one difference, however. If I take here, this is one continuous line in the spiral. The Axidraw running at 50% speed was 3 minutes 45. The iDraw running at the similar speed was 3 minutes 48. So the Axidraw is actually quicker on a single continuous line. So obviously this isn't conclusive, and it means that the type of plot you're doing will affect the speed difference. But I think the plot I designed is quite a good example of what you have. So most of the time the iDraw is going to be faster. Anyway, there you go. Those are the numbers. I hope that's interesting. Right, I think I've cut that into some semblance of order. Bit of a weird video. I am so very, very glad that that's finished with. Obviously I'm going to keep on using it. I'll probably do a follow-up video at some point. And this has now freed me up to do the tutorials. I probably won't do one next week, but the week after. Anyway, that's all by the by. I will see you in the next video. I hope you have lots of pen plotting fun. That's still not a good catchphrase or way to end. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.